How's it going, everyone? I've been playing an insane amount of Balatro, and I've been into Pokemon for forever. So as I've been playing Balatro, I've noticed that there are 150 Jokers, and it got me thinking, you know, an original 150 Pokemon, there's 150 Jokers, and I thought it would be fun to like kind of pair up and match each Joker to each of the original 150 Pokemon, just as like a fun, I don't know about thought experiment, but just like a fun exercise. I like kind of like mixing media together and thinking about things like certain properties with respect to other properties, just because I watch so much stuff. Another thing I'm looking at in terms of assigning Jokers to Pokemon cards, and I think the main thing that's important to me is just like the vibe of the Joker card and the vibe of the Pokemon I want to fit together well. So if there's like other things in play, I would say like the vibe is like one of the most important things to me when I'm like deciding what to pair up together. So for context, I've been working on this project for like over almost a year, I'd say, just like in my spare time, or like if I'm bored at work or on the bus or on like a work trip or something, I'll like work on it on my phone. So I'm reading back some of these from like not remembering the pairings months ago, and it's incredible to like reread some of the stuff. Is very, like, personally I think is very funny, probably because I wrote it and it's like stupid dumb jokes. It's like, it's nice to like read stuff. It's nice to read stuff that you thought was funny from a while ago. Okay, we're gonna keep scooting along, but yeah, that's like the context of like me laughing at these. It's not because like someone else wrote them and I'm reading them. It's because like someone else, as in like me, from Pat from 9 months ago, wrote these jokes, and I'm laughing at my own jokes. And yeah, awesome stuff. I love it. So yeah, that's what today's video is going to be. I'm going to go through all my matches, my pairs. There's kind of some different like designations, I would say. A lot of them are like really like close. I'm like, oh man, that fits so well. Some of them are very like, some of them are like kind of iffy, like it fits kind of well. Some of them are like an extreme stretch, but that just kind of comes with like there being exactly 150 Pokemon and exactly 150 Jokers. It's kind of hard to get exact pairs, or like pairs that work really well for everything. So yeah, that's what today's video is going to be, and I'm gonna jump into it. So I'm assigning Bulbasaur the tribe, based on that the Pokemon stays the same type throughout all of its evolutions, which kind of relates to the tribe being like a flush build card. That's why I didn't want to use Eevee for the tribe, even though that might work kind of well, being as like it evolves into like a tribe of different like evolutions. Since it changes type and the tribe is focused on like flushes, I wanted the Pokemon to have the same type. Bulbasaur also reminds me of that episode in the anime where there's like a tribe of Bulbasaur that are all like supporting this Venusaur, and they're a big tribe of like Pokemon, and there's a ton of them, and Ash's Bulbasaur I think helps the tribe of Bulbasaur and Venusaur out. So it kind of makes me think of that in terms of like a dynamics of a tribe, and like the hierarchy they have with like them all kind of like following the lead Venusaur there. I'm assigning Bloodstone to Ivysaur, which seems like a weird pick. This is one of those that's kind of like a stretch for sure. It can learn Sunny Day through TM, and also learn Solar Beam through Level Up, and also uses Solar Beam as in Super Smash Bros. As like their final smash. And Bloodstones, like in real life, a Bloodstone is a heliotrope, which means sun turning. So that's like the closest connection I could have with this Joker card. If you can think of a better one for the original 150 Pokemon, be sure to leave it in the comments below. For Venusaur, I'm assigning Flower Pot. And Venusaur has flowers coming out of its back. That's pretty good. I don't need to go into any deeper explanation there. All right, for Charmander, I'm assigning Four Fingers. This one was a very hard Joker to assign. At first I was looking at Pokemon that let you skip moves. That didn't really make sense for the vibe of like the Joker card. So I kept coming back to this card as I was working on this video like over a long period of time. And eventually I looked at looking for Pokemon that only have 4 fingers, and I got into this like crazy Google search where they were like counting Pokemon that only had 4 fingers, and it was like a big project they were working on. Thakin on Reddit had like a big Reddit post about it, but there was only 6 Pokemon that only have 4 fingers, and Charmander was one of them. And then another comment on that Reddit post from Kai Minus also said that sometimes Charmander has 4 fingers and sometimes it only has 3. In any case, I moved Charmander away from the Campfire Joker, which I had originally assigned it to, onto 4 fingers because it's the only Pokemon in Kanto with 4 fingers sometimes, because sometimes it has 3. This is another one of those Jokers or pairings that is like not the best, but yeah, I think it's at least interesting in terms of like literally 4 fingers. What Pokemon has 4 fingers? For Charmeleon, I'm assigning Loyalty card. In the anime, when Ash gets his Charmeleon, it only listens to him on occasion because he doesn't have enough gym badges. And it's kind of similar to like the Loyalty card in terms of like, for this Joker, it only works, like you only get the multiplier every 6 turns. So it kind of reminded me of like a Pokemon not listening to its trainer every single turn and only working sometimes. For Charizard, I'm assigning Training card, just because in the card game, the Charizard card I think is like usually the one that costs the most. For Squirtle, I'm assigning Card Sharp. When I think of Squirtle, I think of the Squirtle Squad, and they have like the cool sunglasses, and the Card Sharp Joker has those as well. For Wartortle, I'm assigning Turtle Bean just because Turtle. For Blastoise, I'm assigning Swashbuckler. Blastoise has cannons on its back and has like the watery vibes, which makes me think about like cannons on a pirate ship and that sort of stuff. It also kind of looks like a pirate fortress, with its really big shell and like bulkiness. Caterpie always makes me think of the anime episodes where with the comedy of Misty being scared of Caterpie even though it's like a small bug. And then eventually we have like the tragedy of the episode Bye Bye Butterfree, where Caterpie like evolves over time and then turns into a Butterfree and like flies away. So I'm assigning it the Sock and Buskin Joker because it has like, in the anime, Caterpie has like the comedy aspect as well as the tragedy aspect. Sock and Buskin's art has the masks of comedy and tragedy, so it kind of pairs like that. For Metapod, it's a classic weak Pokemon, and when like people think of like the weakest Pokemon, I would say it's one of them that people might think of. I'm assigning Metapod Wii Joker because it powers up playing 2 cards, and that's like the weakest card in the game. For Butterfree, I'm assigning Delayed Gratification, just based on the gratification of having a Butterfree finally after leveling up your Metapod over time. For Weedle, I'm pairing it with Riffraff. Weedle kind of reminds me of one of the common Jokers you get when Riffraff triggers, giving you extra common Joker cards, just because there's so many Weedle, especially like in the early routes in one of the Gen 1 games. And I think Riffraff is a good Joker to get like early on in your run. For Kakuna, I'm assigning Golden Joker just based on the fact that it's gold colored, and so is Golden Joker. Like I said, some of these are, after like working a long time to assign like all of these Joker cards, some of them are kind of like very, very like just blatant obvious stuff, just due to the fact of having to have that rule in place of assigning them all together. For Beedrill, I'm pairing it with baseball card. When I think of Beedrill, I think about characters like Casey from the anime. Casey loves yellow and black striped Pokemon, and specifically Ash gives her a Beedrill in the episode titled The Bug Stops Here. Casey is like a big baseball player and fan, so that's why I'm pairing these Jokers together. For Pidgey, they are number 16 in the Pokedex, and I'm pairing it with Driver's License. Driver's License gives 3x molt when you have 16 enhanced cards in the deck. So this one is another one of those just very flimsy pairings, but we're working with what we got. Pidgeotto, I'm assigning mail in rebate. Pidgeotto is a pigeon, and pigeons used to carry delivery mail back in the day. For Pidgeot, I always think of using fly, especially in those early gens. It shows like the sprite for like the Pokemon coming to pick you up to fly is Pidgey, and like all the flying type Pokemon, the sprite is Pidgey when they're like in your party. So I'm pairing Pidgey with Cloud9, just like being clouds and in the sky. For Rattata, usually all the youngsters in the games, a lot of the youngsters in the games have Rattata in their Pokemon teams. So I'm assigning a Blackboard because you also find youngsters in like schools and stuff like that. And youngsters make me think of like the Pokemon schools and like in the early towns. Raticate looks like they would like usually be found in a big city, like rats in a big city, giant rats in a big city. I'm pairing it with Shortcut, just because Shortcut depicts like the back alley of some city. For Sparrow, all of its Pokedex entries talk about how angry it is. Sparrow also has the episode of the anime where it attacks Ash and Pikachu and gets mad at them. So I'm pairing it with Mad Joker. Fearow can learn Mirror Move, which copies the move last used by its opponent in a Pokemon battle. This is the best I could come up with for pairing up with a Pokemon up with Brainstorm, which copies the leftmost Joker. In a perfect world where there was 151 Pokemon, I would probably use Mew for Blueprint and Ditto for Brainstorm, since they like both can copy other Pokemon, like actually copy them, which is what the Joker is doing. But since we're limiting it just to the original 150, this is where I'm pairing it up with. For Ekans, I'm pairing it with Devious Joker because snakes are devious based on like myths and legends and that sort of thing. Also, Team Rocket has an Ekans, and Team Rocket has devious schemes and that sort of stuff. For Arbok, I'm pairing it with Burglar. Jessie has an Arbok in the anime, and Team Rocket is always doing burglary things and stealing other people's Pokemon and that sort of stuff. And additionally, a lot of the Team Rocket members in the video games have Arbok as well on their team. Pikachu, I'm pairing with Joker the Joker. With Pikachu, I'm pairing with Joker. Pikachu is like the iconic Pokemon from Pokemon. That's what everyone thinks of. And Joker is the iconic Joker from Balatro. That sentence is awesome. Raichu, I pulled this one from the absolute depths of my mind somehow while I was writing for this video, or like making these pair-ups. I remembered an episode in the anime where Raichu is in a little top hat, like the Joker. I'm pairing it with the Showman. So I looked it up, and yeah, in episode 90 of the anime called Stage Fright, there's a Raichu that puts on like a little performance on a showboat. And yeah, that was a deep pull because I probably haven't watched that episode in like I don't know how many years, but yeah, I thought that was pretty good, and I like that. That's one of my favorite pairings that I made. For Sandshrew, I'm pairing it with Chaos the Clown. Sandshrew learns Rollout by leveling up, and Chaos the Clown gives a free reroll in the shop. For Sandslash, I'm pairing it with Rough Gem because you can find rough gems by digging around in the ground. For Nidoran Female, it can learn Double Kick and Fury Swipes, which are moves that hit multiple times over and over again. Diet Cola lets you create a double tag when you sell it, so that's why I'm pairing those together. Nidorina is usually paired up with Nidorino, like in terms of whatever art and stuff like that. So I'm pairing it with Sly Joker, which increases your chips whenever you're scoring a pair. Nidoqueen is a queen, and Shoot the Moon gives you +3 molt for each queen in hand, so I'm pairing those together. Nidoran Male can learn Double Kick and Fury Attack. Both of those moves are low power and hit like multiple times. Hanging Chad kind of reminds me of moves like that, where it's low scoring cards can like hit multiple times. Also, Chad is a nickname for a guy, so that's why I'm assigning it to Nidoran Male instead of Nidoran Female. For Nidorino, spoiler for later in the episode, but I obviously assigned the bull to Tauros. So I couldn't come up with much for the Matador card. This is kind of a stretch, but Nidorino seems like the kind of Pokemon that would like charge at something angrily, like a bull would charge at a Matador with its horn. Nidoking is a king, and Baron is one of the best king-related jokers, so I'm pairing those together. Clefairy is really intertwined with the moon and like all the Pokedex entries and like the anime episodes, and it needing to have a moonstone to evolve, so I'm pairing it with To the Moon. Clefable learns Metronome, which uses a random move, and Cartomancer summons a random tarot card when the blind is selected, so I'm pairing them together. Vulpix is a fire type, and red card is a red card, like fire is red. Ninetales always reminds me of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red and Blue games, where the part of the story early in the game is that your player character might be the one that put a curse on or was mean to a Ninetales and got a curse put on it, and that's why you've been turned into a Pokemon. And Mystic Summit's art has similar vibes to the mission in those games of like exploring magical dungeons and that sort of stuff. And it sounds like a dungeon, to be honest. Like if I was playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and the next dungeon that unlocked was Mystic Summit, I wouldn't think twice about it. But it is not that. I looked it up. It is not actually a dungeon in the game. I looked it up, but yeah, similar vibes. Jigglypuff's signature move is Sing, and it always sings in the anime and puts people to sleep. And Troubadours sing. And yes, I had to look up what Troubadour meant. Troubadours are they're not really jesters, but they're like the people who sing for royalty and kings and queens and stuff in whatever not ancient times, but previous years ago. There's probably troubadours now. I don't know. Wigglytuff can be bought from the Celadon Game Corner in Pokemon Yellow for 2,680 coins. I don't know why I wrote all this down. And credit card lets you go into debt in Balatro and lets you buy more stuff in Balatro and stuff. So that's the very loose pairing I'm making here. Zubat is the main Pokemon I think of in terms of in the games like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and I guess the original Gold and Silver, where Pokemon can be caught at different times. So that's why I'm assigning Dusk to Zubat. Golbat is a bat, and so Vampire. Oddish, based purely on names, I'm assigning Odd Todd. Gloom can evolve into Blossom, which is based on a hula dancer, so I'm assigning it the idol, which is based on the idol from like a tiki idol from Polynesian culture. Vileplume can learn Sweet Scent, which is when used outside of battle, starts a wild encounter. This is the closest I have. This is the closest I'll get to assigning Lusty Joker without being a degenerate. That's very funny when I wrote that. Paris is a grass type, and grass is green, so Green Joker. Parasect can learn Fury Cutter, which is a move that powers up over time as it's used repeatedly in battle, similar to Spare Trousers, which powers up every time you play a 2-pair. Venonat's Pokedex number is 48, which is an even number, and 4 and 8 are both even numbers. This is wild. What? Venonat's Pokedex number is 48, which is an even number, and 4 and 8 are also both even numbers. So even Steven. Venomoth is a moth, and moths are attracted to lights at night, and satellites are lights in the night sky. So I'm pairing those together. I imagine Diglett would sometimes cause erosions if they burrow in the wrong spot, so I'm assigning erosion to Diglett. Also at this point in the process, I was running low on ground type Pokemon, so that was the best I got. Abstract Joker gives an extra 5 molt per Joker, kind of like the Pokemon move Beat Up, where you get additional attack power based on how many Pokemon you have in your party. Doug Trio can learn Beat Up through egg moves, and the only other Mons in Kanto that can learn Beat Up are the Nidolines and Charizard, but I had already had other Jokers picked for them, so that's why I'm making this pair. Meowth is based on a Lucky Cat with a coin on its head, and its signature move is Payday, so that's why I'm assigning those together. This is like a very easy an easy pairing to make that I definitely couldn't pass up. Persian always makes me think of Team Rocket's leader Giovanni, and he's very like suit and formal in the anime, so it's giving business card vibes. I'm assigning Droll Joker to Psyduck because I'd say Psyduck is a pretty droll Pokemon. If you're about to bust out your dictionary to look up what droll means like I did, let me stop you right there. Droll, curious or unusual in a way that provokes dry amusement. So yeah, so like in the anime, there's all the jokes with the dry jokes with Psyduck. Golduck is clever based on its ability to use psychic powers, so I'm assigning Clever Joker. Mankey's a monkey. God, Mankey's a monkey, and monkeys like bananas. Like gross Michelle. Mankey is a monkey, and monkeys like gross. Mankey's a monkey, and monkeys like bananas, like gross Michelle. Yes, I had to look up how to pronounce that, and I'm not looking up now because I'm in the middle of recording. I should have looked that up beforehand. That's wild. Similarly, Primeape is an ape, and apes like bananas, so Cavendish. And Gross Michelle, like you could say evolves into Cavendish. So yeah, that's why I'm making those pairings. Growlithe can learn Last Resort through leveling up, which is a move that does double damage if a Pokemon fainted on the last turn. One of your Pokemon fainted on the last turn of battle. And Joker Stencil gives 1x molt per empty Joker slot, so which isn't exactly the same, but it's kind of like a similar idea and vibe. Arcanine is the legendary Pokemon, like species, like the species quotes for Arcanine is legendary Pokemon, and Perkeo is one of the few legendary Jokers. Perkeo also creates negative copies of consumables, like kind of like how Arcanine can learn Double Team and Extreme Speed, and like usually in the anime that's depicted, and like in the games it's depicted as like multiple copies of the Pokemon. Poliwag is designed based on a tadpole with legs, which is halfway between a tadpole and a frog, so I'm assigning half Joker to Poliwag. Poliwhirl is usually pretty smiley and happy, and is a big round face, so I'm assigning it smiley face. I kind of wanted to use something about the Pokemon Adventures manga for Poliwhirl, but I couldn't get like a good pull with the other Jokers, so oh well. Poliwrath uses their fist to fight, and they have like the big fists, so I'm assigning it Raised Fist, and it's fighting type. This is a good assigning. I like this one a lot. Abra can be used to catch specific Pokemon in the Gen 1 games. It's famously used in a glitch to catch Mew early in the game. Like using its teleport, Abra can is a big part of the glitch. Since it's using this glitch, I'm assigning Misprint to Abra. Misprint is supposed to be like a misprinted card, which is like a glitch in manufacturing. Kadabra is super smart based on the Pokedex entries, and Scholar I'm assuming is also smart if they're getting an A+ on what's shown on the card. That's okay. Alakazam learns Future Sight through evolution, and Fortune Teller tells the future. Machop's Pokedex number is 66, so I'm assigning them all 6s. That is a rough pair. At this point in the process, I had less than 40 Pokemon left to assign, so this might be rough. Machoke seemed like the only Pokemon out of that 40 remaining Pokemon that could juggle, so they get Juggler. Machamp has the Champion's Belt, just like Luchador. Bellsprout is a plant. Corn is a plant. Popcorn is made from corn kernels. That's incredible. James has a Weepinbell in the anime, and Team Rocket is greedy, so Weepinbell gets Greedy Joker. James's Victory Bell always tries to eat his head, which I know lore-wise is like him showing affection, but it's still pretty crazy Joker. Tentacool is a water type, and water is blue, so Blue Joker. At the point of assigning Tentacruel a Joker card, I had 30 Pokemon left in the Pokédex I needed to assign. And Tentacruel was the only one that I thought could reasonably be ridden while surfing, so ride the bus. Roxanne is a member of the trainer school in the Hoenn region, in the Hoenn games, and she has Geodudes on her team, and a trainer school probably has flashcards, so Geodude gets flashcard. For Graveler, I'm assigning Hiker because the Hiker trainers usually have like rock-type Pokemon like Graveler. Golem learns Rollout and gets strong, which is a move that gets stronger with repeated use in a Pokemon battle, similar to Repeating Hands used to power up the Obelisk. Ponyta is a horse, and Bootstraps are cowboy boots. Rapidash be running like the runner. That's fucking awesome. Rapidash also reminds me of that episode of Pokemon where they have like the race they have to compete in. Slowpoke is a water type Pokemon, and Seltzer has water in it. Slowbro is a water type Pokemon as well as Slowpoke, and Smear Joker looks like it had water smeared on it. Water was spilled on a painting. I told you some of these were rough, but yeah, it's fun. It's a fun time. Magnemite is an electric Pokemon, and walkie-talkies are powered by electricity. These are awesome. I love this. I love doing this. It's so goofy. Magneton is the only steel type in Gen 1 after the typing was retroactively added after Gen 2. So I'm assigning it Steel Joker. Farfetch'd holds a leak, kind of like someone would hold like a flag or banner in a parade. This is another stretch, yeah. Doduo is two-headed, so the duo. And Dodrio is three-headed, so the trio. Those are good. Those are good. I like those. Seel's an ice type, so they get ice cream. Dugong can learn Payday using a TM in Gen 1 and Gen 7, and Payday gives you more money when it's used in a battle. And Golden Ticket gives you $4 for every gold card played, so I'm making that pairing. Some Team Rocket members have Grimers on their team, and Team Rocket is fairly crafty and stuff in their schemes, so I'm assigning it Crafty Joker. Team Rocket members in the games also have Mucks, so I'm pairing it with Space Joker because Team Rocket and Space, and yeah. Shelder is protected by their shell, and Stuntman is protected by its helmet. That's great. Cloyster has lots of the low base attack power multi-hit moves, like Icicle Spear, Rock Blast, and Spike Cannon. This is similar vibes to the hack with repeatedly scoring low power cards like 2 through 5. I like that pairing. That's also a cool pairing because like I'm remembering from the games and like playing Pokemon Showdown that Cloyster has those moves, and it's like similar in terms of like use in the game vibes, not just like visual vibes, which a lot of these other ones are visual vibes, but yeah, I like that pairing. For Ghastly, I'm assigning it Seance. The wispy thing in the middle of the Seance cards kind of looks like a Ghastly shape. Haunter, I'm assigning Scary Face because Haunter's face looks like exactly like the face on the middle of the Scary Face card. Spoiler alert for a very old movie, but I'm assigning Gengar to The Sixth Sense. And The Sixth Sense is an old movie that the twist in it is that Bruce Willis is a ghost, or someone's a ghost. I don't know. The ghosts have to do with the movie. Onyx, this one is purely based on names. I'm pairing with Onyx. Onyx Agate. Drowsy uses the move Hypnosis to put its opponent to sleep. And when you get sleepy, you're happy because you aren't at work. That's awesome. And Mary Andy is happy. So yeah, that's that pairing. I love that. I love that. Hypno hypnotizes, and hallucinations are kind of close to hypnosis, I guess. So I'm pairing it with hallucination. Krabby seems like it would be pretty crazy and zany, so zany Joker. Kingler, King's face cards. Reserve parking gives a 50% chance for each face card held in hand to give $1. The 50% chance also kind of reminds me of Kingler's signature attack Guillotine, which is a 33% chance insta-kill move. Voltorb is a ball. Electrode signature move is Explosion, and Supernova is a big explosion. Exeggcute is an egg. I love this so much. Exeggutor has 3 heads, and Wily Joker increases chips when a 3 of a kind is played. Cubone is sad, and Vagabond is sad. Marowak has a bone meringue, so Mr. Bones. Hitmonlee probably jogs and does karate, and both those tasks are on the to-do list. Hitmonchan, I'm pairing with Drunkard. This is a reference to Drunken Fist boxing / the fighting style seen in like lots of movies, and I guess also real life probably. There are definitely better Jokers to match up with Hitmonchan, but there's not a lot of Kanto Pokemon to match with the Drunkard, so that's why I'm making this pairing. Lickitung could probably slam some ramen. The only road in Kanto that has like actual vehicles on it, from what I remember, is Route 17 with all the bikers. And most of them have Coughings on their team, so that's why I'm assigning Hit the Road to Coughing. James has a Weezing in the anime and is on Team Rocket. Lots of Team Rocket members in the games also have Weezings on their team. Weezing can also levitate, like how a rocket ship can fly. The last, that's also kind of a stretch, but there's not much to differentiate between like the Burglar and the Rocket Joker cards, and I wanted to use them both for like Team Rocket partner Pokemon. Rhyhorn is a rock type, so Stone Joker. Rhydon was one of the first Pokemon sketched by Ken Sugimori, as well as its index number being 001 in the original games. Rhydon also makes me think of all those Pokemon statues in the front of the gyms and like the Elite Four and stuff, so I'm pairing it with Throwback. Chansey is a nurse, and nurses get nursing certificates or degrees or whatever, so I'm pairing it with Certificate. I'm pairing Faceless Joker with Tangela because Tangela's face is like hidden behind all the vines. Kangaskhan I'm pairing with the family. I know the family Joker is for 4 of a kinds, and Kangaskhan is just like the mom and the kid, but I think they are the closest to like a family related Pokemon, at least from like the Gen 1 Pokemon. I'm assigning Jolly Joker to Horsey because they always seem fairly jolly, like visually happy. Seadra can learn agility through level up and double team through TM. In the anime, they always showed those moves as like multiple copies, kind of like I talked about earlier. So I'm pairing it with Seeing Double. Goldeen has gold in the name, and Midas Mask turns face cards into gold cards when they are scored. Seeking, King, face cards. Photograph is multiplying your first face card played. Staryu is a star, and constellations are made up of stars. Starmie is a star, and astronomers study stars, so astronomer. Mr. Mime is a mime. Scyther is one of the only Pokemon that have like blades in the Kanto region, and Ceremonial Dagger is a blade. I'm pairing Jinx with Superposition. I could see Jinx doing lots of tarot readings, like psychic type stuff, and Superposition gives a free tarot card for playing a straight that contains an ace. I'm pairing Electabuzz with Hologram because Hologram has like an electricity vibe. Out of all the Gen 1 Pokemon, Magmar is the most covered in flames, I guess, besides Moltres, but I'll get to Moltres later. So I'm pairing it with Burn Joker. Pinsir seems pretty wrathful Joker. Tauros is a bull. Splash is Magikarp's signature move. Gyarados learns Outrage and Thrash, which are both high power Pokemon moves, but you're locked into using them like repeatedly for 2 to 3 turns until the Pokemon gets confused. Additionally, in the anime or even the games like Gen 2, they show Gyarados like raging with uncontrollable rage. So I'm pairing Madness with Gyarados, which is also really powerful but can learn to you like burning cards you don't want to burn. Lapras is a gift in Fire Red and Leaf Green in the Silphco building, and the gift card is also a gift. Ditto turns into other Pokemon and uses their moves, and Blueprint copies the abilities of other Jokers. Eevees are in order in the Pokédex and are the only group of Pokemon that could like make a straight with their number scheme, like with their Pokédex numbers, I guess, like repeated numbers in order. Also, the vibes of the evolution group is kind of similar to an order in the sense that they're a group of individuals, but they're like different. A group of individuals on a team or something like that. In the Pokédex text for Vaporeon, it talks about how their cell structure is similar to water, and it becomes invisible when it's in the water. So I'm pairing it with Invisible Joker. I thought this is another like really good pairing that I really like. Like me remembering that from reading from like the curse in my brain to like read all like descriptive text in video games, like Pokédex entries or like weapon text or pickup text or whatever the case is, that remembering that like Vaporeon can like turn invisible in water is like, yeah, I think that's a good pull. I like this, I like this pairing a lot. Jolteon I'm pairing with Acrobat. Acrobat is 3x molt on the final hand of a round, kind of like the Pokemon move Last Resort, which only works after every other Pokemon move has been used like by that Pokemon, the other 3 moves. Jolteon can learn this move through level up, and the only other Kanto Pokemon that can learn this move are Chansey and Snorlax and the rest of the Eevees lines, but I had other Jokers that I paired those with. I'm pairing Flareon with Campfire for pretty obvious reasons. They both have fire on them, and by this point in like my pairing process, there wasn't a lot of like fire type Pokemon left. Porygon are all pixely and have like lots of right angles like the square Joker, and they both have a very similar vibe. Ammonite Shell is based on like the Fibonacci sequence, like the the spinning swirl. So I'm pairing it with Fibonacci. For Omastar, I remember like a lot of competitive builds playing Pokemon Showdown, at least like 10 years ago. They used Shell Smash, which is a move that lowers your attack and lowers your special defense and defense, but boosts your speed, attack, and special attack, which is kind of like a glass cannon build, which I'm sure other Pokemon fit with, but yeah. Kabuto is a rock type Pokemon. Marble Joker adds stone cards to your deck at the beginning of each turn, rock, stone. Arrowheads are sharp rocks, and the only sharp rock Pokemon in Kanto is Kabutops with like their blade arms. When I think of fossils in Kanto, I always think of Aerodactyl first, and that's why I'm pairing it with Ancient Joker, which is also rare, kind of like Aerodactyl's rare, like you only get the one in the game. And it feels like rarer than other Kanto fossils, even though like everyone that plays gets one, it feels like more of like a rare type. I'm pairing Snorlax with Gluttonous Joker, obvious. Articuno is a legendary bird, and Triboulet is a legendary Joker and is blue. Zapdos is a legendary bird Pokemon, and Yorick is a legendary Joker and is yellow. Moltres is a legendary Pokemon, and Chico is a legendary Joker, and both are red. In the games, you can win Dratini after gambling at the game corner in Celadon City, so I'm assigning them Pareidolia. I don't know what that is. Pareidolia, and which shows a gambling game being played. God damn, I should have written a script for this. Dragonair, I'm pairing with Castle because dragons and castles and folklore and mythic stuff. Dragonite is the pseudo legendary from Kanto, so I wanted to give it a Dragon Joker. Also for like Canio specifically, Dragonite has the multi-scale hidden ability, and Canio is a scaling Joker, like the Exmult scales. Mewtwo was created using the DNA of Mew, so I'm pairing it with DNA. Yeah, that's the video. This is my first like actual YouTube video I've recorded, not like a streamed VOD. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to edit. It could be a long time or not, depending on how into it I am and how much free time I have. But yeah, I appreciate sticking around till the end. This was really fun for me to do, just like concept-wise, thinking about different games and like pairing them together. I'm hoping to do this with other games, hopefully shorter videos too. This recording is already 56 minutes. I'm sure I'm going to cut it down a lot, but yeah, I have a lot of ideas for other things I could do and that are shorter videos. But yeah, this is one I've been thinking about for a long time. I've been playing a ton of Balatro. I was super addicted to it, and then now I'm playing it just while I'm running on the treadmill. I have like my Switch set up on the like little holder thing where people usually put their phone, and have like a Joy-Con in each hand, and I'm like jogging or whatever, so that I could like limit my play, because I was just like staying up super late playing it. And Pokemon, like I said, I've been a lifelong Pokemon fan, and ZA just came out recently. I haven't played it yet, but I'm very excited for it. Legends Arceus was one of my favorite games, recent Pokemon games. And I was playing the trading card game like on my phone a lot. And yeah, Pokemon's always something that is just like ingrained in my brain from playing so many hours. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I stream on Twitch. I've been playing mostly Hades 2, so follow me over there on twitch.tv/fullmediaalchemist. Follow me on YouTube. Like I said, I really want to do more videos like this, probably shorter ones, looking at different media properties and like mixing them together. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting me. I really appreciate it. See you next time.